Do you feel awkward in your photos? Well, you don't even need to answer that because I know you feel awkward in your photos since you are here. And that's why I'm here. You found the right place because I'm about to up your posing game because you deserve beautiful photos. If you don't know who I am, my name is David Sa. I'm a posing coach. I recently gave a TED Talk, even photographed people like Lily Collins, Ashley Park, and Ki Hui Kwan. I say that just to add a little bit of drop of credibility. And in this video, I'm gonna help you level up that posing game so that you don't have to feel shy or awkward anymore in your photos. And for my coaching to work today in this video, we have to have some sort of common ground. And that common ground, at least for today, is my philosophy. And you don't have to agree entirely, but just for this video, I'm gonna lend you that philosophy. My philosophy is that everyone, you at home, deserve a beautiful photo because they are a work of art. And it is up to us to define the value of that artwork. Dear viewer, you are the artwork. If you ever have that mindset of, is this a little too narcissistic? Am I being too self-obsessed if I want a good photo of myself? And their answer is no. So with that truth, let's now get into how do we pose better to have beautiful photos of ourselves. Posing is about presence and expression, not just looking good. David, what do you mean? We all want to look good in photos. Yes, I agree. If I think about photos, maybe there's two reasons. One is just documenting. If our friend had a little milk mustache or they just slipped while they were playing in the snow and they're laughing and we want to document that moment, it doesn't really matter if they're looking good. It's about the experience, right? It's about the memory. So that aside, I imagine, yeah, every other photo we want to look good. We emphasize so much about looking good, dare I say looking perfect, that we end up not looking good in photos. Because once we have that pressure to look perfect, which is a whole different video, the beauty standards, the cultural standards, whatever that is, we start beating ourselves up. Then we start finding these poses to look perfect, and it doesn't even feel good for you. So you hear somewhere on Instagram or Pinterest, the best pose is to place your hand on here and then do this, and then turn your chin 2 degrees this way. And that would just end up being not genuine to yourself. So what can we do? Think back to the last time you were photographed. Try to think about that feeling. Did you ask questions like, what should I do with my hand? Where should I look? Maybe you even felt a little small. Maybe you felt like you weren't deserving of these photos even. Those are all good feelings to be attuned to so that you can do something about it to comfort your body. If you feel shy and nervous, imagine what you will look like. Because when I'm shy, I close in. Imagine the you that is protected and affirmed and validated and confident. Imagine what that version of you looks like versus the nervous, shy you. If some of this sounds too woo-woo to you, I get it. And some of you right now watching, maybe you're a little further ahead in the posing journey. That's fine, you keep watching along. But for everyone else who feels like they're not deserving of photos, please know that everything you need is already in here. So for all my shy baby ducklings, here's a quick practical thing that you can do if you are feeling immensely shy and awkward. First step, like I mentioned, is make sure we're breathing. Second step, something that is also really actionable, is to find little nooks like this where you can lean into it. You can rest your body. Start to become really aware of your balance and your weight. If I'm up here, I'm using my core to hold myself up. That we do not want to do. Try to find a place for your body to relax. There's a little disclaimer here. I don't want you to have the expectation that every time you are relaxed, that's gonna be a good photo. No. But when you do find yourself relaxed, you are relaxing your body. Therefore, we go back to presenting our most relaxed, genuine self versus trying to do this perfect thing. And the last thing is not to force it. If you want a photo, but you can't even control your body is so overwhelmingly nervous and shy, don't force it. The worst thing you can do for yourself is to draw more attention to yourself. Because let me take a guess, another thing that you feel when you're having your photos taken is you feel like the world is watching you. That's the last thing that we want. So instead, what we want to do is make it feel like it's not a photo shoot at all. What does that mean? This goes back to being present in the moment. If you have a little coffee cup that you're having in a cute coffee shop, then just sip away. Look away. Don't confront the camera. Imagine the camera as another set of human eyes. And if you keep looking at another person's eyes for a prolonged time, it's gonna feel uncomfortable. Breathe, relax your body onto something, lean, and then 3, don't make it feel like a photo shoot by doing all that much. Communicate with your friend. So remember, it's not about getting the perfect pose. Instead, be present in your body. When you're present in your body, you feel good, you're genuine to yourself. Therefore, you express your best self. You know, as a kid, something that was so silly to me was how Superman, more so Clark Kent, could just get by without no one actually realizing that this Superman with glasses was actually Superman. Superman didn't just change his outfit. He didn't just put on a pair of glasses. He was a great commander of his entire body. Let me change my entire belief system that a bullet cannot hurt me. Therefore, he would act in such a way. Okay, now let's try putting all of that definition and mindset into practice, because I'm sure you're wondering, David, that sounds great, but how is that actually gonna help me pose? Let's put it into 2 examples. Let's say you want to look cool. My cool is a little bit more laid back. It's not all up in your grill like this. And I also myself lean towards a little bit more of like a masculine cool. I want to look maybe a little bit broader. I don't want to shy in. I'm gonna sit back, breathe, take up space, and lean my body somewhere. This hand not here, but I'm gonna open up. I'm gonna open up and I'm looking away. I'm looking away. I'm not gonna be cheesing. Maybe I'm very nonchalant, right? Moving, fixing my hair. Boom, boom. Boom, fixing my glasses. That is thinking about cool as a body language. Second example, maybe this time you and I want to feel a bit more sensual. I'm thinking a little bit about Poison Ivy. How would someone like Poison Ivy move? I might actually come up closer to you. I might go for a little leg cross. I don't know if you even caught that, but I have my leg crossed and that gives me a sense of sass a little bit too. And I might lean forward just a little bit. I might have my arm over here. I might bring my shoulder to me. There's so much expression that we can do with our chin and our shoulder. Give that a try with me at home. Have a knee crossed over, have this hand go over, and it's almost like doing a little stretch, right? I feel a stretch in my back, but instead of just doing a physical stretch, we're doing like an emotional stretch. Whoa. But anyway, try that on. I'm gonna have you bring that shoulder across and bring your chin around as you look down at the ground and adjust your eyes back to me. Ooh, hello. I'm feeling a little sexy. This is something important that my therapist taught me. It's this idea that we have an inner diversity. All the things that you don't believe yourself to be. Maybe you believe that you're not the sexy type. Maybe you believe that you're not that hot model type. You actually are all of those things as well. I hope that new idea that we have this inner diversity gives you permission to try on these new words like sensual, like cool. Because I think if I think back to my time, I realized I would deny that. I would reject myself from that and say, you're not sexy. Who do you think you are? That's only for those people. That's for the models over there. But once I started to realize, oh, I could be so much more. If I just go beyond my stubborn perception of who I am, then I truly could shape my identity in the way I want to shape it. The jacket is off. All right, one of the most asked questions I get is, what is my best angle? And rather than giving you the answer, let me try to give you the how to fish so that you can always find the right answer for yourself. Let me open up your world to angles. The thing that I really want you to realize, you can even do this with me at home, is that we have so many angles to our face. Maybe it's the fact that when we grew up, our parents told us to hit that, this pose right here where we're just looking straight at the camera. Maybe that's why we always think we have this one angle looking at the camera. Instead, we're gonna break that down and let me activate the hundreds of other angles that you have access to. So let's try this at home. Let me show you how we have many angles, okay? First one is a simple looking straight at the camera. Second is we're gonna come up here, chin up. And then we're gonna just go around almost like a little clock, okay? We're gonna go over here, but keep that chin up. We're gonna bring our chin to the side. This time, chin down just a little bit, and then chin down. And at this point, if you're still looking at me from the chin down to the side, it's quite the side eye to me. I'm feeling something already. The fact that I'm looking at you like this, it's like you're about to give me tea. And now we're going to keep that downward angle and come straight towards the camera, and I'm gonna look slightly up at you. And here too, I'm feeling something as well. I'm like, hello. This time we're gonna go around just a little bit this way, and then up again. Now I'm sort of looking down at you, almost like I'm maybe doubting what you have to say, right? And back to center. Whoa! It's almost like we have different ways we express with our faces. And not only that, I didn't even include the different tilts available to our face. Not only can I come up here, I can add a little tilt. I can add a tilt this way. I can add a tilt forward. And once you start using all these combinations, you start making almost unlimited amount of ways you can express. So the thing that I want you to take away from this, there really isn't just one best angle for you. If we were to only take care of the physical side of looking good, yes, perhaps there might be one great angle for you. If David still didn't have a good relationship with his beauty mark over here, all of this side would be gone, and I'd be only limited to this. If I wanted to show off, let's say, my jawline, and I always had to do that for some reason, then maybe I'd be now limited to this side only. So physically speaking, perhaps there is one side for you, but we have to realize different angles evoke different feelings. When I want to feel confident, I'm up here. When I'm feeling a little sly, I'm down here. And we use all of these angles to communicate with one another. I'm helping you realize that photos isn't just this one simple binary concept of looking good. As we explore the angles of our face, there's one more thing we're not considering, and that's the angle of the camera. And in this case, my duckling, of how you see me. Let's say I lowered you down and you were looking up at me. How you are perceiving me is different. It's almost like a child looking at their parent. Maybe it's a servant to a royalty. There's a sense of social, cultural, and emotional elements to this that changes up the perception. And then if I were to change it up and have you way up and you're looking down at me, how you perceive me from the comfort of your home will be very different as well. The beautiful thing about photography is that we get to explore all of that dynamic. Neither angle is better or worse, but we go through life experiencing all of these things. Sometimes we want to be looking up at someone in a serving way, other times in a doubtful way, like who are you? Other times we want to be the one that's taller and stronger. So I really want to open up the world of angles for you. Firstly, in your face, realizing all of this, then the camera as well. The way I want you to practice this isn't by looking at the mirror first. Just start doing it with me and see if you can feel something when you go here and here and here. And then of course, in a little bit, I will address if you have certain parts of you that you are shy about, how do we de-emphasize that area? If you are fond of your smile and your teeth or your eyes, then how do we play towards that strength? But at least for time being, please know that you've been given your body to use it all to express all that you are. But what about the angles for the body? David, do I have a best angle for that? Again, for this too is a yes and a no. The best thing I can provide you right now to begin with is a system to help you realize the endless possibilities of how to move your body. Let me put you onto the 7 posing points, something my mentor Sue Bryce has taught me. The 7 posing points pretty much goes over all the different joints in our body. But what I like to do is start from bottom up. So at the very bottom is our feet or our ankles. Let's start out with our feet together. Perhaps we can now go shoulder width stance. What about if we go even wider stance? Now, if you're used to being shy in front of the camera, this might feel a little bit more of a challenge to you. And you'll realize it with all of the 7 posing points. Once you start taking up more space physically, you're challenging yourself. So from the wider stance, let's go back to shoulder width stance. From here, what else can we do on that first posing point? We can rotate. This is such an important point. Rotate a little bit, and then let's keep rotating just a tiny bit more, and one more time. And why don't we even just face our back to the camera, rotating all the way around, and then now we can twist our top of our body towards the camera, and then now bring it back to the front. So I love rotation because if if you don't take anything away from this video, this is probably a really good point to take away and remember. If you find yourself running out of poses, let's say you just did the classic peace sign, all you need to do is rotate tiny bit, and now that's a new pose. And that's the power of the 7 posing points. This is to help you break the idea that a new pose has to be this drastically different thing. So with that, let's go to the second posing point, which is the next joint up, our knee. Our knee, we can do a lot of special things with. Let's start with our feet together, and this will be extra lovely for all the ladies who want to show off their curves. Bring your feet up to a tippy toe, which will activate your knees. As you have your knee up, you can bring it in or you can bring it out. Either one of those in and out options will change the shape of your body. If you have it in, you're taking up a little bit less space, but you're starting to create a different shape there. Perhaps some of us might see that as feeling a little bit more shy, or maybe it's a little bit more dainty. But if we were to open up that knee, we are creating a wider shape, which some of us might like. Maybe it takes up more space, maybe it's more bold. Let's take that and now go up to the third point, which is our hip. So our hip is where we start to talk about balance. And if you are a great student at home, you remember that I said you could relax your body onto something like an armrest, or you can also relax it onto your leg. So let's practice going from center balance in shoulder width stance to shifting our balance onto one of our legs onto this side. It's almost like waiting for a bus. We rarely wait for a friend or a bus by assuming a soldier stance where we have our knees locked and our booties clenched and we're in this posture, this straight up posture. No, we learn to relax our body. And the way we do that is by just simply shifting our weight and balance onto one of our legs so that the other leg can rest. That already is a beautiful thing for our body and for comforting us. But another thing that allows us to do is that because we're resting all of our weight onto one leg, it allows us to do something else with the other. I mean, if we wanted to, we can kick our leg up, or like I said, you can really put it onto a tippy toe. And as you get your tippy toe on, it will allow you to kick your hip out even more. And this is how David, if I'm posing straight like a stick, I look like a stick of gum. All of a sudden, as I shift my weight to one leg and my hip out, now I'm looking like a good old avocado. So that is the power of hips. But let's say you're also a man who doesn't want to be showing off these curves and figures. I don't want you to just be stuck in keeping your hips straight. Think of it as salsa. You have to move and activate your hips. When you're waiting for a bus, you still have to relax that hip. So going from our third posing point to our fourth, our shoulders. Ooh, so important. Even as I move my shoulders here, there's so much to feel, so much to express, and just start realizing for the time being that we have this. We can move it forward. We can move both shoulders in as well. I feel a little bit vulnerable this way. If I move it back, then I feel strong like Superman. I can also bring certain shoulders down and up to feel a little bit more sassy, especially if I connect my chin towards that shoulder. And then now we move on to our elbows. Our elbows and our wrists, I don't want to spend too much time because that's more of the intermediate and advanced. That's where we start to play with our hands and start creating all these shapes, which again is a little bit more into the advanced stuff. First thing I want you to feel is, again, feeling comfortable in your body. So the best advice I can give here is, what do you do with your hands on a regular basis? And I know that's easier said than done, but there's simple things like, how did you put on your clothes today? For me, I had to pull up my jeans. I can fix my jeans. I had to put on my shoes. Maybe I can fix the zipper on my boots or tie up the shoelace again. Perhaps I put on these glasses and I'm fixing my glasses a few times. Maybe I fix my hair, I'm fixing my hair. So yes, it is easier said than done, but it also is simple to think about. So if you ever find yourself really worried about what to do with your hands, go back to that question I asked, which is, how did you get yourself ready today? And last but not least, the seventh posing point, which is the head and the neck. But we went over this, right? We have all these possibilities. And when you try on this 7 posing points, I want you to work yourself up from first the foot all the way up. And if you don't change anything, just change your legs. Notice how taking up more space makes you feel. The last thing you should change is your nose, your chin placement, and always remember, even a little chin around is a new pose. And that is the power of angles. As we talk about posing and understand that the final goal is to look good and get a good photo of us, I feel like I have to communicate the various elements that go into a good photo. I don't think I'd be doing you service by not bringing this up, even though it's not about posing. Getting a good photo is like solving a Rubik's Cube. Within that Rubik's Cube, there are things like lighting, style, and fashion. But something else we're not even talking about is creative direction. Let's say theoretically, you have the best pose in the world for you. That doesn't mean that it's gonna be a good photo. I again have to keep drilling this into your head because I think it just happens over and over. If we don't understand the many moving pieces of photography to get a good photo, we start to think that it's us. And no, like you think about what goes into a Vogue cover shoot. Look up any credits for a photo shoot. There's the creative director, like I mentioned, the photographer, I think we call it the gaffer, the person who does the lighting, the location scouter, the set designer. There's so many people that go into it. The makeup artist, the hairstylist, all that kind of good stuff. So just remember, the Rubik's Cube, there's so many different things and all poses can work. And as we embark on this journey for a beautiful photo of us, we need to start seeing ourselves as many of those roles that I listed, such as the creative director, the photographer, the lighting expert. Let's say for lighting, when you're posing for a photo, take a pause. Because again, just because you hit a wonderful pose doesn't mean it's gonna immediately be a good photo. I mean, oh my gosh, how easy my life would be if that was the case. But you have to pause and say, is this a good setting for a photo? Is this a good setting for my outfit pick of the day? Is the lighting good? Because lighting also is such a huge aspect to what makes a good photo. Even as you look at me right now, if I look at this room, I always assess where is the light coming from. And Miss Fan, do you want to try turning off the light real quick? It's great to have a team. We just turned off the light and we had that to fill in some light into the shadow over here. But if I really were to work with the natural setting, I need to identify where the light is coming from. And you'll realize when I turn my nose around this way, I can't even see myself, but I can feel that I look good. You will only notice if you start to think like a creative director, like a photographer. You know the lighting is coming from here. So I know that there's some sort of light on my face here and it's shading this side of my face, which sculpts my face as well. I mean, we talked about using posing to sculpt ourselves and show off the booty, but I bet you didn't realize that lighting can do that as well. So now I'm using this light to my advantage to show off the shape and dimension of my face. I mean, just think back to elementary school when we're learning how to draw. To go from a 2D apple to a 3D apple, what do you do there? You have to shade. The difference between the two apples are drastically different. One now has curves and dimensions and depth, which is us. That's why, again, the importance of light. And now I'm playing towards this. So remember, great photos happen not just with a great pose, but when a great pose, a great style, great lighting, a great concept, all of them all come together. So learn to put on the different hats and learn to create. Use your creative brain and exercise that because you deserve to be seen. This section might arguably be probably the most sought after moment in this video because it really addresses one of the most important questions in posing, which is how do I pose if I'm shy about this? I'm shy about my stomach. David, I don't like my arms. David, I don't like my nose. I don't like my hair. I will say this. All of those are welcome. Please do not shame yourself. The things that you're proud of your body, the things that you're insecure about is welcome here. I'm not here to tell you to forcefully love your body if there are things that you are shy about, and I have many things I'm still shy about. Instead, I want to empower you with the tools to help you where you are in your life. Starting off with, this is a very simple one. If there is a part of you that you are shy about, I don't want you to bring it towards the camera. A simple rule is that the thing that's closest to the camera is the thing that will receive the most spotlight. Vice versa, the thing that is further away from the camera will receive less attention. There's a couple of other things that also happen because of the lens and how things work. For example, my hand, if it's right next to my face, you can see that it's like the size of my face. But once I bring it closer to the camera, can you validate that it does appear larger than my face. Yeah. However, if I were to bring this back over here, my hand looks tiny. So you can imagine already, you can probably start cooking in your head already. How do I start using this for myself? Let's say you are feeling shy about your tummy. I think this a lot of people can resonate with. But instead of putting it forward towards the camera, we're gonna put it back. But we want to do this by using the 7 posing points we learned earlier. We don't want to just scoot our booty back as if we're doing a deadlift or squats. We simply want to shift our weight to the back leg, therefore have the hip go back away from the camera. However, if you want to show off, let's say your arms, and you've been working out your arms, we don't want it to appear smaller. We want to make sure it's in the forefront of the camera. Maybe I'll bring it in front. Maybe I'll lean on something where, again, the arms are the first thing the camera sees. The same thing applies for your selfie angles. If you are self-conscious about your forehead and say, oh, David, I have a big forehead, then we don't want to put it towards the camera. Instead, we want to bring it away from the camera by bringing our chin up. What that's doing at the same time, as it's de-emphasizing the forehead, it's also emphasizing the jawline and the chin. There are also other ways you can emphasize and de-emphasize your body. I mean, we can even take it away from posing and go to something like clothing. If I were to go to the beach and let's say I am not beach body ready, then there's a very simple solution, which is to have a shirt on. At the same time, if I were to just go out, I wouldn't be wearing a crop top that's showing off my whole belly, bringing a lot of attention towards it. And just the same way, we can show off something we want through clothing by revealing it. If I wanted to show off my arms, then maybe I'd be wearing a tank top. Especially for the ladies, maybe you really want to show off your back, then you can have a backless dress. Maybe you want to show off your legs so you have a little slit. Another way to emphasize or de-emphasize, more so with posing this time, is with your hands. Going back to the question of, David, what do we do with our hands? Your hands can bring lots of eyes to wherever it is. If I wanted to show off the necklace that I'm wearing today, my hands would be towards the necklace. Maybe it's the hair. The last thing to talk about emphasizing and de-emphasizing is through just your body and your anatomy. We talked about how your body interacts with the camera and how that emphasizes or de-emphasizes things. But what about just the sheer fact of flexing a muscle? Our anatomy moves in and of itself. If we wanted to, let's say, show off the fact that we have these huge quads that we've been working out, then we will flex that muscle. Perhaps we can put our foot on a tippy toe and that actually lengthens our leg out. If we were to draw a line from our hip to what our leg can visibly show in the camera, the leg that isn't extending out is going to be visibly shorter than the leg that has its toe elongated out. The neck as well, instead of bringing it in, a lot of people feel self-conscious about their double chin. Extend it out. How do you get it away from each other? How do you get it away from the body? And then of course, that's not to say anything that you bring in is bad. So in conclusion, remember, these aren't set rules. These are tools for you to utilize. And I love this because we have to realize our bodies change, our ideas change, our perception of who we are changes. So what better thing is there than to have a tool to help you accentuate some things that you do want to accentuate on a certain day. Other days, maybe you don't want to accentuate it. So now you have all these different tools to help you accentuate and decentuate, if that's even a word. So if we take all the things that we learned, now it's getting down to how do we start moving in front of the camera. We need to flow with the camera. We need to move. And the best way to think about this is a tango between you and the camera. Even if it's a selfie tripod where you're taking your own photos, it still needs to be a tango. What I mean by that is if you think about partner dancing, someone leads. If one person swings you this way, then you need to step back with your foot or else you're gonna get your foot stubbed. So how does that apply to your posing and photography? If you have a photographer who goes from photographing you from up here and then goes down to photograph you from upward angle, right? Now you will also know, because you're thinking as a photographer as well and a creative director as well, that does two things for you. Physically, it's going to emphasize and de-emphasize certain things. So maybe you start seeing a lot of your neck. You're not a big fan of showing your neck. So you need to then move and react. Emotionally, shooting from down below, it's going to give you that powerful feeling. So how can you work with that? How can you double down on that too? As you respond to the photographer and their decision and their camera placement, what can you start doing? You can start moving moving. It's not just this static thing where you're gonna stay here and keep looking at the camera lens, because you'll realize the more you look at the camera lens and the photographer doesn't say anything and you remain in that pose, you're gonna start getting more anxious and you're gonna start saying things like, did you take the photo yet? So what you can do is just communicate with the photographer, hey, can you just take a few poses? I'm just gonna move around a little bit. So as I do that, I'm gonna say, yeah, every time I move, can you just take a photo? And boom, 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 boom. And those are all new photos. So start to incorporate movements. Now I get to be a little bit in the lead. I am saying, you react to me, Mr. or Miss Photographer. I'm gonna move, you take photo, move, you take photo. And that's what I want you to keep applying. One helpful tip in moving is to think of a metronome. Let's say it's that, move something. Move one of the 7 posing points. And like I said, if you don't know what to change, then rotate ever so slightly. Another really good point, keep changing up your head placement. Along with your head placement, nose and eyes, I would say, really important. Always guide your eyes down to the floor and then eyes to the camera. Chin up, eyes away, nose around, head tilt towards the camera, eyes to the camera. So the constant metronome and beats of changes allows us to get into a rhythm, to not feel flustered and ask, what do I do with my hands? Where do I look? How do I smile? What does my hair look like? And you giving yourself that internal beat. If you don't have a fabulous David there guiding you and being that metronome for you, because you can't always depend on other people, is to create that internal metronome for yourself and just make some small adjustments. And even if you don't know what to do with your hand, it's okay, because all you need to do is some head tilts here and there. So when you stop holding your poses and instead flow and add movements, you go from staged to genuine and alive. Overcoming insecurities with posing. Okay, let's be honest. I think all of us can safely say we have something that we can pick apart about ourselves. It makes sense because of the world we live in, the society we live in, the social media centric world that we live in. You know, it reminds me of sort of like the toxic ways in photography and posing, because if you just wanted to look good, it's becoming easier and easier to get perfect photos. I mean, nowadays you can even just take a selfie of yourself, upload it onto different AI softwares and say, give me 6-pack abs in the middle of beautiful island. And it will give you that photo and actually look really realistic. But I think there's something really beautiful about posing in this. You start connecting with you for the first time and say, wow, that's a beautiful human being. That is such a powerful thing. So I really want to dispel this idea that you have to reach a certain goal or a certain weight to deserve photos. I talked about this in a Instagram reel that really resonated with a lot of people about my journey of gaining 20 pounds over a year because of many various reasons. And it doesn't matter how you feel about me and how you see me, because I felt that change in my body and it was uncomfortable for me. A lot of my self-bully came out to bully myself about this new change and this new body. The thing I had to remind myself is that I don't deserve a photo because I look perfect. My identity doesn't depend on my body. My identity doesn't depend on how I look. I want us to separate those two tracks. You can still say, oh, I have my dream body. You can still be on that journey. Don't wait until you reach that goal to say, I am deserving of a beautiful photo. I am deserving of my embrace of my identity. And hopefully I'm able to dispel that for you so you can finally just let loose and invite some playfulness and curiosity and joy into taking some photos. So all that to say, give yourself permission to take photos, and take photos that you don't like, take photos that you do like just try. Give yourself the permission to explore. It's almost like trying to draw a perfect picture of you. You're not gonna be able to draw that perfect picture until you practice and learn the skill of drawing. At first, it might just be a stick figure, but that doesn't, again, take away from who you are. You're not a stick figure all of a sudden just because you drew yourself that way. Same thing with a bad photo. You're not a bad looking person. You just need to practice, give yourself patience to play, draw, practice, and soon you will see a beautiful photo that you love. If you're ready to feel confident and express the entirety of you through posing and photography, I want to personally invite you to my online Posing Masterclass. There's already over 1,000 students who've taken this journey with me, and I've put in over a decade of my knowledge and experience and over half a year of creating this beautiful product that's been just made for you. Whether you're a photographer, content creator, mom, Jane next door, or just someone who truly wants to take my philosophy and believe that you deserve to be seen and heard in photos, this masterclass will teach you how to never run out of poses, highlight your best features, and truly learn to express the entirety of you and explore your identity. Click the link in the description below to learn more and enroll in my Posing Masterclass today. Here it is, you guys. That really was the Posing 101. If you can't tell, I'm very passionate about this. I'm passionate about it because I'm passionate about you to grow your confidence and take up space. So practice, practice, practice. Leave your comments below if you feel like I missed a spot, and do your thing. Slay, queen, king, or royalty. Get snatched, look snatched. I'll always be here for you because you are a work of art. We all are. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more.